So we started today's show by talking about Artemi Panarin and how the Montreal Canadiens may had inadvertently helped LA get the trade done. But in this video, we're diving into some of the other teams that were in the mix, but wouldn't fully cross the finish line. We're talking about the Red Wings, we're talking about the Kraken, we're talking about what actually happened and how much money was potentially on the table. Let's start things out by taking a look at what David Pagnotta tweeted out shortly after the Panarin sweepstakes concluded yesterday. Several teams, including Carolina, Tampa, and Dallas, were in the Panarin race near the end. I believe an extension would have gone along with the Canes. Despite the trade offer by Washington, I don't believe an extension was happening with them, Detroit, or Anaheim. LA and Panarin are working on an extension now. And here's the thing. This was one of the earlier tweets that we had seen when Panarin got moved. A lot of the later tweets and updates from different insiders after the fact went out there and highlighted how supposedly Artemi Panarin's only real interested trade destination was LA. Based off of all the reports, all the other hearsay from insiders around the NHL, it seems like this guy did not want to extend anywhere else. And what also seems apparent is that he wouldn't have gotten traded anywhere where he could not have gotten an extension. This seems to have severely handcuffed the Panarin trade talks. It seemed to have severely limited what it was the Rangers were able to get for this guy. Instead of a roster player, and a top prospect, they ended up getting a top prospect who, I'll admit, Liam Greentree is a very good player, but it's not like he is a top 10 pick or whatever. I don't even know if he's playing like one this season, to be fair, with the OHL. But Artemi Panarin got sent over for Greentree and 2 mid-round picks, rather than the top prospect and the first and the roster player and whatever, mostly because he only wanted to go to a place he'd extend, and he only wanted to extend with LA. As for what happened with Detroit, Anaheim, Washington, seems like Stevie Y just might have been a little lukewarm on whether or not this would have been a productive thing for his hockey team to do. We of course know that Stevie Y does not want to get rentals. He doesn't want guys whose contracts are expiring. He wants guys with term. Panarin, of course, contract expiring at the end of the season, making $11.6 million a year normally, cut that in half, 50% retained over to LA. And then he ended up signing a 2-year extension at $11 million a year with the Kings. But the thing with Yzerman doesn't really surprise me. I guess in hindsight, it makes a lot more sense. It's like, oh, why would Yzerman want to get a guy who is 34 years old? I guess that you could say that the rebuttal to that is, hey, they just got JVR, they just got Patrick Kane, they have some older guys. And Panarin, there are enough reasons to justify how he would be a positive addition because of his connection with Kane, etc., than not. But seems like CVY would not have been wanted to give an extension to this guy either. Same could be said about the Anaheim Ducks. Same could be said about the Washington Capitals. As much as it would have been cool to see Panarin and Ovechkin playing together, that does not seem to have been a possibility. Now, when it comes to teams that actually were reported to have given extension offers to Panarin, one of which is actually not listed on this Twitter thread over here by David Pagnotta. It's the Seattle Kraken. Take a look at this tweet, Elliot Friedman's commentary. Artemi Panarin rejected a 4-year deal worth $14 million plus from the Seattle Kraken before going to LA on a 2-year deal worth $11 million AAV. Now, just do the math on that. 11 million by 2, $22 million. 14 million by 4. Okay, my mental math kind of sucks. $56 million. This guy left $33 million US on the table and said no to Seattle because he just wanted to play in LA that much. He was offered twice the amount of dollars, and then some from the Seattle Kraken. And he said, nah, sorry, I'll go to LA for half the cost, half the years. I could have been making much more money in Seattle, but I don't want to play there. Who wants to go to Seattle? They can't develop first-round picks. I mean, a lot of the replies are going out there and just laying it into the Kraken, laying it into Panarin. This guy, okay, we're not going to read what Trey, a savage lover, goes out there and says. The guy doesn't care about money or winning. He just wants to play hockey in an area with good nightlife. I almost respect it. Almost. Hey man, I live in Vancouver. I've been to Seattle a bunch of times over the course of my life. I don't want to go out there and critique the nightlife or the culture or the rain or the depression-inducing environment that Seattle has. It's pretty similar to Vancouver in that respect. Rain, city, something pigeons, am I right? But Artemi Panarin rejecting a $56 million total dollar contract with Seattle to go to LA for half the total dollars is a super huge commitment to the bit that you can't help but respect here. Artemi Panarin, I mean, he wants to go to a place where he can see himself winning and a place where he can have some pretty good times outside the arena. Seattle? Compared to LA, you can understand why he would have gone out there and chosen the latter, but that's a huge commitment to the bit here. Some of these replies are getting really funny. At this point, it looks like the Kraken are more playoff bound than LA. That's an interesting thought. Let's go out there and take a look at the standings, see where everything lies. So, when it comes to the Pacific wildcard race, LA is on the outside looking in. 60 points in 65 games. They are 3 points behind the Ducks. The Kraken, though, they're 3 points ahead of LA as well. Same amount of games played. They're actually tied with Anaheim. Utah, had they been in the Pacific, they would have had a top 3 spot. It's a pretty bad division right here. So all LA needs to do is catch up to that Seattle Kraken team, and they could probably find themselves a pretty good chance of making it, assuming Anaheim doesn't do the same. This wildcard race is shaping up to be a big one, but of course, with LA acquiring Artemi Panarin and having Panarin develop alongside of Quinton Byfield, there's going to be a lot of extrapolated, extra added value offensively for this team, and that is something that the Seattle Kraken missed out on. Not because they didn't try. By all accounts, it seems like they did. But Panarin just didn't want to go there. $56 million versus 22, and Panarin chose the 22. That's crazy, man. And LA is in California. Talk about all the states and taxes and whatnot. I mean, there are a number of ways that certain NHL players make their living, and Panarin does it not by getting as much money as he can, but literally by just choosing where he wants to go instead. So, on that note, let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about Detroit, Anaheim, these teams apparently not being willing to give an extension over to Artemi Panarin, Washington as well. Carolina would have been there, given an extension, but it seems like Panarin didn't want to go there. He wanted to go to SoCal, baby. If you're a Seattle Kraken fan, let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about Panarin rejecting your team in that way? Such a significant magnitude of money handed over to this guy, and he said, nah, sorry, I'll go for less than half the cost down south on I-5. How does that make you feel? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.